Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I just love her vibe, her energy, her creativity for changing your living space and making it something that you're proud of, that resonates with you, that feels good for you when you come in or when you go to work. And she's an amazing interior designer, award-winning at that. Today, we're going to talk about a number of things. First is what we call design wars, where you've got a couple or a family and one wants this, one wants that. How do you blend it? We'll start there with Lynda Griffin, who's back with us. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I am wonderful, Steve. How are you?
Doing great. Doing fantastic.
Thank you for having me again.
I do a lot of podcasts, I'll be fully honest, and these are the ones that are fun because there's creativity, there's change, there's
Yeah,
inspiration in all of this, which to me is exciting. I love it.
it is. It's our environment, right? So if we can get that environment right, it helps us to breathe better, think better, feel better. Sometimes in our own homes, if it's messy or chaotic, it really doesn't make us feel well. Really, our houses can make us what? Sick. But we all know that when we have interior design and things in the appropriate places, everything has a function. Oh gosh, we feel better just in
Yeah.
that space. So it is understanding where things belong, and because there's a place for everything. And so I tell my clients this all the time, there's a place for everything, and we're going to find one for
100%.
that coat, for the tissue box, for the pillows. We do pillows. The dog, Steve. We need to find a spot for the dog and even for the cat who are family members, our pets. There's a place for them too. So today I'm so super excited because we just passed Valentine's Day. And so that's the day of love. And so we talk about love and love in the house, love in our bedrooms and kitchens and all the spaces. So we talked about what design challenges and design wars a little bit last week to get everybody a little, maybe who are listening, get them a little excited about what you could do differently in your house during or preparing for Valentine's Day for your loved one.
Mhm.
And so with this, we get the questions. Well, Lynda, he likes brown and I like color. So how do the two come together? And so in the design challenge that we call it, it's really more about talking what it is you do like and what you don't like. That's one. Secondly, and I know it sounds easy, but sometimes it's not as easy because we get those same comments. Well, I'm not really sure when to talk to him about it, but he just knows I like to design or decorate, so he just lets me do it. Still, talk to your mate about what they want in the space. Then you get into all the details as to what design style. Most men usually like about a good modern design, and women like contemporary or traditional because, Steve, it brings about all kinds of colors and fun and patterns. But guys don't like patterns as often. There's some really heavy patterns that can be put into a space. So when the design challenge comes against gender, talk it over, bring out swatches and pattern colors and things, and just sit and look at what can work for both. Our job is to come in as a designer, to come in and actually marry the two so that we have a modern design, we might have the traditional design, but when the two shall come together, we have what we call transitional. So transitional is the two design styles coming together to really make one fabulous design. So it doesn't have to be the one or the other, which eliminates the fight.
Lots of questions, lots of questions. So here we go. Do we ever, and I don't, I guess there's variables here, but do you start ever with color? Is that normal? Or do you start with the style? Do you start, obviously there's functionality, which we're going to get to in a
Yes.
little while,
Yes.
but what's the starting point?
That's a good question. And we get asked that all the time. So, how do you go in and put all this together? So, as I really start to kind of think about the design, I start thinking about the functions because the biggest part of that is what's your purpose for the room?
Hmm.
So, we have to put the F in function because that is very key to what we decide, as well as it's very key to what the design style will be. And it's also key to what color you're going to use for that design style. So, it's a domino effect. So if we go in and look at function from chairs and tables, are you going to watch TV in the room? Are you going to cozy up in the room? What is that room for first? So always think about purpose, function first. Then you get into identifying your design style, because it could very well be modern based on your furnishings that, and the functions that you want. And if it's that, then you can get into color. For example, talking about color. So color language, everybody has what we call a color language. Do you know what your color language is, Steve?
I'm going to say that. Oh, are we talking about my personal color
Your
language?
personal color language. Yes.
Okay. It's going to be blues, and it
Good.
could be darker blues, lighter blues, grays, even
Yeah.
olive. I have an
Yeah.
olive random shirt. I think I resonate better with those colors. I'm not a red. I'm not a brown. It just
Uh-huh.
doesn't work for me. No yellow. It's
Yeah.
it's in that family, and I try to get out of that,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't work for me.
Coming back.
I
But
will
I can
throw
see.
in, I'm sorry, I want to just say I'll throw in red if it's like a red plaid or a
Gotcha.
like a maroon, but then again, that's also loosely tied to a gray. So
Correct. Correct. No, those are good. Those are really good colors because generally, so blue, for example, is the color that relaxes, refreshes, and it produces tranquil feelings, which is why most of us love sitting by the water. So, in
mm,
some aspect, whether it's a beach, ocean, lake, pool, we all like water. There's something very calming and soothing about it. So, blue is that color. Purple is a color of comfort. So when you start getting into your color language, it is, well, what do I want to be in this space? And I often make the joke that in the kitchen, we have had more people talk about putting red in their kitchens. But I said, if red empowers, stimulates, and symbolizes passion, I'm not quite
mm.
sure you want to do that while you're making your tossed salad. I'm just saying.
Well, okay, so interesting that you say that. Think of every or many
Mhm.
fast food restaurants. What's the predominant color?
It
McDonald's
is
is red.
red. It is
Burger King is
red.
red and
It is
orange
red and orange.
for a
And so
reason.
there's a reason. It's to keep you stimulated,
Yep.
So from a marketing perspective, stimulation.
Yep.
But in your own space, because remember, now we have to dissect, house, commercial, residential, but you don't want to have passion in your kitchen while you're cooking. You may want to
Well,
put
it depends.
that's true.
If
Which
you
some
want to
of my
spice
students
things up
tell
in
me.
the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, my students tell me that. Well, I don't know, Linda, it might be. But it does stimulate you. So it kind of gives you the energy. But also, too, you don't necessarily and wouldn't want pink, which is soothing and promotes affability and affection. You don't want that in your kitchen space. So you really we have to define your room for you. And obviously, with modern design, there are browns that you mentioned brown. There's black, there's white, there's ivory, there's gray, and there are tons of gray. Look at this nice little cute fan deck, Steve.
Hmm.
From our partners at Sherwin-Williams. And so this thing here helps you, and it's a pocket size. You can go and get a little pocket size fan deck. They're so cute. But also, too, because they really help you in a pinch. So if you really need to get like a color and you need to figure it out and you're not sure, grab a fan deck and it'll help you. It'll take, a lot of question out of your thoughts about, well, what colors do I really want in my space before I start buying things? Because
Isn't it
that's,
interesting, Linda, when you fanned that out
mm-hmm,
twice now,
mm-hmm,
that I know for me, right away, my eyes go to a certain section of
yeah,
color. Like
yeah,
I know, eh, eh, I know the ones I don't like, and I know the ones I like. And if we're talking walls, not clothes,
yeah,
um, I'd be good with what you have there. Maybe not the one on the left, but a little bit more in the olive and that gray, with different shades
yes,
of that.
yes,
Uh,
yes,
yeah, it's interesting how we know what we like or what we don't like, and our
exactly.
our eyes go right to it.
Go right to it, which is important about color on your walls in your space. So that's why the question you asked earlier was how do and where do you start in design? And we like to start first with the function so that we get that right because we need to make sure that we have the right furnishings, then that determines our color style. There are colors in the color wheel that are important to modern design, that are important to traditional. So if you identify your room, everyone who is listening, please identify your room first, then go with wall color. What we see is people going into our local hardware stores and they're finding like 6 and a dozen swatches and they're bringing these things home. Or I think in one case, I remember having a client that actually put maybe 20, it had to have been about 20 swatch paint swatches on her wall. So that means she went out and bought like 20 quarts of different colors and put them all over the walls because it was really hard for her to decide. So don't use color first, use function first. Now, as we get to man, woman, in the house kind of thing, the genders, the design wars and challenges, it is men like things that are very simple, clean lines. Now in design, because we're designing more with modern design, more and more women are interested in that. What? KIS. Keep it simple. Remember the acronym. We use it constantly. Because
usually it's KISS, and we use that even in broadcasting. Keep it simple, stupid.
You said the extra dot S. So yeah, it is keeping it simple so that you don't go overboard with your thoughts. So just go in, make sure that you know what you want to see and what you want to sit in. I had someone today, literally a client of mine today, said, well, Lynda, I don't want modular furniture because we have people that are of age that need to get in and out of their furnishings. That is another big key to your function and how you purchase or how we purchase furnishings for our clients. So Steve, if you go out and get, we used to call them futons. I think they still have futons around, but they're a little bit better now. They're a little bit better now.
I have one in the right across from me, right over there in a separate section of this office, a futon, which when you need to take a nap, it serves. It works. It's functional, but it doesn't look like a futon. It looks like a couch.
There you go. So we've come a long way from our old futons that were just like, this really is a futon. So to now having like a nice sleeping, quarters or sleeping bed. But in the furniture, you have to make sure that it's functional for people to get in and out of. That's your guest, that is yourself. So that's why we shape furnishings first. Then we start shaping lighting. Lighting is also dictated by what? Design style. And there are a number of design styles. Can you name them, Steve? One is what? Modern.
Okay. Farmhouse.
That would be your design style. There you go. That's a good one.
Traditional. I don't know.
Contemporary. You did great. And then we have the new ones like farmhouse and transitional that kind of come in. So ultimately, the first things we want to know is, do you or your partner, do you or your mate know the design style? So let's answer that question by what you tell me. So you're going to tell me exactly what you want to do in the room, and then we go from there. So your design style has been dictated by what you just told me. You said, I want to entertain. I want to be able to play on the piano. We want to have, maybe a glass of wine. We want to come in and we just want to relax, put our feet up. Maybe I just want to watch the games. All of that tells us about design style, furnishings, fabric types. We have so much fun doing this. We do. I know it's very hard for others, but
I think it's fantastically fun. And as soon as you say those different styles, I know where I sit. I'm not a fan of farmhouse. Probably, well, some guys might be. I don't want to, alienate anybody. However, if I go into somebody's home that's got that style, and I visited my friend who moved to Georgia last year, it's kind of the style. Like even just the decorations, the signs, the motif, everything has that farm feel. And it was cozy. Not really my thing. I'm more minimalistic, slightly modern. If there's some brick in the room, let's say existing fireplace, and I'm describing my living room. It was there. It's not brick. It's more stone. I'm not a big fan of just brick, like red brick. I would have to paint it or do something with it. It wouldn't fit my style. But it's funny, like you go back to looking at the swatches, your eyes go right there.
Correct.
The type of style. You know, maybe what do you do for people that don't know what their style is?
We help shape them by what they tell us
Okay,
because we already have an idea as to what they really want to see. And in some cases, even if you get a client that has absolutely no idea what they want to see, they know what they don't want. The don't want leads us to what they do want.
sure.
So I'll ask the question and I may say, okay, well, what colors do you not want to see? Well, Lynda, I don't want to see black or I don't want to see brown and I'm tired of gray. I don't want to see that on the wall. Okay, well, then that actually removes modern.
Hmm.
So now we're kind of moving over into more contemporary. Okay, so then tell me, do you have a favorite color? I do. I do. I love such and such. I love orange or I love yellow. Okay, great. So now we're moving towards a contemporary flavor. So we start, you have to know it's color theory all day long, but it's also function and using our design principles to help shape our clients that really don't have any idea about what they're going to do to the space. Theater rooms, bathrooms, everybody wants a spa feel because whenever we go on travel, everyone feels that because that's the thing you're getting after, right? When you go on
Sure.
vacation, it is, I want to relax. I want my Zen place. I want to just have peace and just chill out.
Let me tell
So,
you something. When I make my bed,
yeah,
which doesn't have an oven,
yeah.
I just don't. And they say you should make your bed every day
Don't
because
they?
it
Yeah,
just
yeah,
psychologically it does
correct.
something for you to start your day. But when I do, well, here,
Mhm.
bouncing back, I did a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago, forgot that I did.
Mm,
Walked in to my bedroom
yeah.
and I was like, "What? Was somebody here? Oh, I made the bed."
I made that bed.
And it felt like I was on vacation.
It
So
does.
yes, there's and that's my
Very
belief
good.
that you should feel like you're on vacation when you walk into your bathroom, your
Absolutely.
bedroom, my backyard, last house sold last year, in
Yeah.
between houses now. I made that backyard look
Oh,
like a complete tropical
yeah,
paradise, right
yeah.
down to I had to have a palm tree, and
Oh,
it
yes.
was artificial with real palm bark
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah,
it
yeah.
like it was pricey, but it was the I
Correct.
deserve, I'm giving something to myself. I needed to
Yeah.
have that. I put sand around
Oh,
it, like all of that, but it felt
oh, that
like
was cool, Steve. Yeah.
I loved it. It's very proud of it. That was, and it
Mhm.
helped sell the home. That that was the backyard vacation feel. So,
Yeah.
and everybody has other, reasons. That's my belief that you should have that. Look
Correct.
forward to come home.
Correct. There you go. Every time we hear that, whether it was outdoors, obviously we had more outdoor types of projects during the pandemic, which kind of hit
Sure.
right along. Everybody was interested in that. So the same principles that we use for indoor, we still use for outdoor. What are you expecting to do even outdoors in that space? And once again, we have those same design challenges, those same design wars. I want to be able to do a this, and he wants to be able to do a that. And so that's why we sit both persons down. We go over the design with respect to color and function and ask really important questions at the end of the day. How do you really want to feel in your own space? The king of the castle, is this the playroom and the Super Bowl, theater room space that you've always wanted? What is that makes you feel great when you're in your space? Because you and I both
Hmm.
know, Steve, that there are times, we have snow here in Maryland. Truly, we do, like most parts of other parts of the country. So what happens when you get, stuck and you have like, 6 feet of snow around you and you can't go anywhere? You really want to have your space to yourself,
Completely.
completely to yourself.
I
Oh,
want to ask you, what's your style? Your
oh,
personal.
I love, love, love contemporary. I am a contemporary all day long. But I grew into contemporary, which is a good question to know that just because you may be one design style now, it doesn't mean that you were always that design style. And it doesn't mean you can't change later. Every so often, design trends are every 7 to 10 years. Okay, so that's why when you see magazines and all kinds of other information about design, you start hearing about trends, but they last about 7 to 10 when people start noticing, hey, I want new tile because there's a new tile, there's a new flooring, that's just been created. So 7 to 10 years, but mine started off being very traditional. And so I love traditional design. And then as you evolve, and as you know, what I've always said to everyone is the man makes everything. And who is the man, Steve? Do you remember that? That's a little trivia. Do you remember who the man is? You see if you remember.
Well, as I remember, it used to be the man is the boss. Not, and I don't mean, I'm working for the man, has nothing to do with the guy in the house. That's,
Right,
I don't
right,
know
right.
if we're going there, but
Most people think about that. They're like, is the man like the boss? The manufacturer. The manufacturer. So the manufacturer makes anything and everything, Steve. He really does. You can Google pretty much anything now, right? So with that, you kind of already know that there's so much available to you that you
mm,
don't have to stick to one design style. If you change 2 or 3 years and you want to go completely full modern, it's okay too. But again, there are design styles that can come together to help with the design wars, in the house to make a peaceable home. So, and that's what we take pride in doing. We did, as a matter of fact, we just won another award for 2024 for house for
oh,
best of house and design and service. So we are super excited about getting that information last week.
congrats.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so we work hard. We have a great time putting all this together for our clients. We videotape sometimes our clients, and so with their responses and their remarks and their surprised facial expressions when they come into the space, and it really makes us feel great that we did that and we helped transform a space. It really does go beyond for creative interior designs. It really goes beyond just decorating your house. We're designers and we're a design firm that literally goes from concept to completion for you. So our guys even get involved in it. We laugh, we joke, we have a great time on the site. We get the clients involved. Do you want to tear down this wall? Would you like to clobber it one time? Would you like to sledgehammer?
hmm
They say yes.
How do you not? Like it's just a great release, number one, but
It
number
is.
two, it's the transition to change. And there are some people that can buy things and decorate and have a little bit of style and it works. However, there's more working there when it comes to the design of what a room is going to do, how it's going to function, right down to closets. There's a lot I believe that people don't realize that goes into all of this, and even the
Absolutely.
little nuances. Like focus on bedroom. I have uh, gray gray toned hardwood floors throughout my place. I don't
Okay.
have any rugs.
Right.
I have a dog, so I'm kind of happy about that.
That's right.
But in my bedroom, I recently said to myself, you know what? Why don't I have a rug under the bed? And it would just add some warmth to the room. And I picked that up from somebody who does what you do.
Yeah.
I was looking on a website, pictures,
Yes.
but those little things that we don't realize that
Come
can
on.
make a big difference. And then right down to the lighting. How do
Yes.
we engage you, Lynda? If
So
somebody wants to connect.
if someone wants to connect, they can go to our website at www.cidbylynda.com and go right in there. There is a tab for you to click on that says contact us. And it's really what we call a discovery call. The discovery call is how you connect with us. We can get in and get a consultation done, which means we're really coming in to assess your space, to see what's going on, and to really listen to you, because we hear a lot about that not happening. But when we come into a place, that's all we're interested to do is hearing what you have to say about your space. And then we provide some input. But realistically, we're not there to kind of start talking about get rid of that, toss that. We're
Mhm.
interested in knowing who you are, and we want you to know who we are. We want to see the adjacent rooms. We want to see your personality so that we can help flourish it even more in the designing that we do. So that always makes the better, because if I know that you're a traveler, then we're going to have some really cool accents and pieces in your design that talk about travel, so that
Hmm.
your guests can come and say, oh, well, we've been to Africa. Oh, we've been to Italy, and that creates conversation, Steve. So, it is putting pictures of your vacations on the walls.
I'm
So,
glad you said that. I want to, this happened to me yesterday. I went, I'm on Long Island. We have lots of wineries on the eastern end
yeah,
of Long Island, around the Hamptons and such.
okay.
And I went to a place that has sparkling wine, call it
Mhm.
champagne. It's called Sparkling Point.
Okay.
The decor was more modern,
Mm.
and some traditional, but every painting was super colorful.
Mm.
And it almost looked
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
carnival, like Brazil.
Mhm.
There was even an outfit in a mannequin in a corner in the
Oh,
boutique
wow.
just for fun that
Yeah.
somebody had there. And our server, I said, what's with all of the, these paintings? They seem to have a theme. The family that owns it is very much into carnival,
Yeah.
carnival,
Yeah.
Brazil, and
Correct.
all of that. And he said, yeah, some people actually complain about it. I'm like, how could you complain? These splashes of beautiful color on the wall within paintings, but
Absolutely.
I guess everybody's
Absolutely.
different.
It
But
does. It's really a beautiful thing. I'm so glad that you mentioned that because that's real. And so,
yeah,
in the realness of it all, that's what helps us. So, it helps us to help you to design the space that you want. So, definitely give Creative Interior Designs a call or contact us by 301-535-3040 or go to our website, cidbylynda.com.
awesome. Always great talking with you. Again, I love your energy and just the whole process to me is fun. Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
fun work. Everything is
It
work in
is.
life. I believe it. Even playing is work. But this is fun
This
and it
is-
shapes your life. And why would you want to be miserable in your living space? Makes
Oh
no
my
sense.
gosh, you said it, Steve. So that's the reason we said change the design, change the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Change the rest of your life.
Looking forward next time we get together.
Same here, same
Thanks.
time.
And
Steve,
congratulations on the award again. I know that's one of many,
thank
but this is the latest
you.
one. It's fantastic.
Yes,
Super
absolutely.
cool.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. I'll see you soon.
Yep. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.